Welcome! Today we're going to be doing a DSG fluid service on an Audi A3 8P. The fluid service interval is due every 40,000 miles. For this service you will need a special tool such as a fill tool of some kind. Recommendations will be in the description section. You can make your own or buy a cheap gravity fill tool, but I recommend buying a pump, that way that you can use it for other things in the future like flushing brake fluid as well. First, start by raising the car and making sure that you can use jack stands. Never rely on a jack alone when getting underneath your car. Use a leveler to make sure that the transmission is leveled. This will be important when checking the fluid level on our DSG fluid. Next, take off the air box, giving yourself some clearance when taking out the battery and the battery tray. Remove the battery terminals with a 10mm socket and wrench. Remove the bolt holding the battery clip with a 13mm socket. With a 10mm socket, remove the 3 battery tray bolts. Effortlessly finagle the battery tray off. This will give you access to the DSG filter. Put down a rag to catch any of the mess that you might make. Use a 24mm socket to remove the filter cap. Lift slowly and shake off the fluid, keeping the fluid contained in the housing. Carefully turn the cap upside down and clean off any fluid and possible debris or dirt. Next, gently take out the filter. This will make a mess, so you'll have to have something nearby to throw it into. Next, I like to use a turkey baster to drain out the excess fluid, but leave just a little for the new filter O-ring. Use a pick or a screwdriver to get the old O-ring off the filter cap. Get some DSG fluid on the new O-ring and make sure you get a good seal. Next, install your DSG filter. Put on the filter cap and tighten it to 15 foot-pound. Then put the battery tray and airbox back together. Now get underneath the car and locate the DSG drain plug. Use a 14mm Allen socket and crack it loose. And then take the drain plug off by hand the rest of the way. You'll want to have a tray or something nearby to catch the fluid off.
Excuse me.
Next, take an 8mm Allen and remove the inner plastic drain plug snorkel. Be careful not to damage the snorkel as it is plastic. This is where you'll drain the majority of your fluid. When the fluid is drained, place the plastic snorkel back into place. Don't over tighten it. It only needs to be hand tight. Next, get out your fill tool end that attaches to the drain hole. Now connect the hose fitting to your fill tool. And now get the new DSG fluid and fill up your bottle. When pumping the new DSG fluid, keep pressure between 10 and 15 bar. When the 5 liters is all pumped into the DSG, turn the shutoff valve to prevent the fluid from leaving back out. Next, we'll take our scan tool and check the transmission oil temperature. I'll be using a Schwaben scanner with VAGCOM. And while I demonstrate on how to get to the transmission oil and live data, I'll show this diagram that shows how the level is designed to be checked. You see that when the fluid is overfilled, the fluid will drain out through the snorkel. Once the fluid level is just below the top of the snorkel, the fluid will stop pouring out. You want the new fluid to be between 35 degrees and 40 degrees Celsius. 45 degrees up and the fluid is too viscous and will give you an improper level. If your transmission is too hot, you'll have to wait for it to cool down to 35 degrees. Once you've confirmed that the fluid is at 35 degrees, start the car with all of the fluid in the transmission and cycle the gears for a second or two at a time. Next, with the car still running, release your fill tool valve and take off the tool end from the drain hole. Have your drain plug ready with a new crush washer and wait for the fluid to run at a slow or little to no drip at all. If bunches of fluid start to shoot out sporadically, that is because there is a pump that pumps fluid every few seconds. Once you have your drain plug back on and tighten down to 33 foot-pound, you can turn off the car. And that's how you perform a DSG fluid service. Thanks for watching.